Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I did the story not so long ago about the woman whose car was stolen, and I believe her child was in it. And so she contacted the police, and the police contacted Volkswagen, knowing that her car had a system in it that would allow them to track the car, and they could tell the police where the car was. And when they contacted VW said, well, she hasn't paid her bill, so we're not going to do that for you. And it was a very, very bad public relations incident for VW because a lot of people said, well, even if she hadn't paid her bill, it was an emergency. Couldn't they have done this to, I don't know, help the police as opposed to just, giving her some free service? And so VW has now done something in an attempt to spin that around, and I believe it's a good thing. James and Billy both sent me notes, and Steve, check this out. VW is making CarNet free for 5 years after the carjacking fiasco. Michelle Lewis wrote this for electrek.co, and she agrees with me this is in fact a good thing. In response to the carjacking involving a Volkswagen and a 2-year-old child, VW of America announced it will provide a free 5-year subscription for CarNet safe and secure connected vehicle emergency services for most model year vehicles from 2020 to 2023, including the ID4S. Now, you'll recall that at the end of last month, there was a carjacking incident in Libertyville, Illinois. A Volkswagen Atlas was stolen from a woman's driveway with her 2-year-old in the car. Now, she was injured because the carjacker ran her over and then took off. So you've got a very serious injury for her, carjacker with the car and her child. So a detective called VW and asked them to locate the car with CarNet. The rep went full-on bureaucratic on the detective, saying that the Atlas's courtesy trial period had ended and that the owner would need to pay $150 to reactivate it in order to find the Atlas. A member of the car owner's family paid the money. Now, I had several people ask me who paid the money, and in the other stories I saw, it didn't say. And the implication was that the police officer had paid it. But here it says a member of the car owner's family paid the money. But due to the VW rep not budging, 30 minutes had been wasted. Fortunately, police officers had already found the child, who was unharmed, but had been abandoned in a parking lot. And then police later found the car. VW called the incident a serious breach of the process, and now it wants to make good. So a customer experience and brand marketer for Volkswagen of America released a statement yesterday saying that VW wants to make it right in response to the incident and said that CarNet 5-year subscriptions will now be free. And as noted previously, this is the first step in a series of steps for CarNet becoming self-aware and becoming Skynet. But that's another movie altogether. Meanwhile, VW's gas-powered models' CarNet subscriptions include automatic crash notifications, emergency assistance, stolen vehicle locator, and anti-theft alerts. But VW's ID4 EV models, CarNet subscriptions, only include automatic crash notifications and emergency assistance. Not sure why any of that would be a difference, but who knows. The author of the article contacted VW to ask why the ID4's CarNet offerings are more limited and did not get an answer, so she says she'll update us coming down the road. VW does not mention that in today's announcement, but the ID4 Safe and Secure package includes information assistance, which means you can call an agent for help or send a destination to your car with both hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. ID4 drivers also get automatic crash notification, which means when the airbags go off, the driver is automatically contacted by the CarNet Response Center to see if they need any help. Emergency assistance means vehicle passengers can call for help by pressing the SOS button to connect the emergency services. The vehicle location is transmitted and help is sent immediately, and the operator remains on the line with the person who called. So if you own one of these cars, you should find out about this. The coverage begins as soon as the owner creates a My VW account and accepts the terms of service, which I assume, again, means that you consent to Skynet taking over. The coverage will remain active for 5 years after the sale date, or June 1st, 2023, whichever is later. So 5 years after those dates. And so For VW, this was a smart move in response to a pretty awful incident. And the author of the article, Michelle Lewis, says she looks forward to having this service, and maybe she can write some articles explaining how well it worked for her, because I'll be curious about it. And I mentioned in the last episode that I talked about this, that I had OnStar with a GM product I owned a while back, and it was right on the verge of smartphones becoming a thing. And I had it on my car, and I never used it, just never used it. And I had that trial period, and it lapsed. And one of the reasons it lapsed was the entire time I had the trial period, I never used it, not once. But I also do know other people who've got it, who use it, who love it, and all that kind of thing. And obviously, with a situation like where the airbags deploy, yeah, that's nice that someone's going to check in on you and say, are you okay and do you need help? Because we know where you are, and we can pass the information along immediately to first responders. So that's a pretty cool thing they've got there. I'm just wondering if it's a question of how markets work, but it's the kind of thing where I can picture somebody out there saying, what does it really cost us to run this service? And instead of making it a profit center, pitching it as a safety issue and making it available for free or darn near free. Now, I know that car makers have tried to monetize everything. For everything like your heated seats or your windshield wipers or access to your own trunk. Now, I'm joking, obviously. But the point is they can monetize anything they want, presumably, or not monetize anything they want. And I'm curious to know if somewhere down the road, if there might ever become a situation where some car company goes, you know something, we need more market share. And why not give that away really, really cheap and see what happens? Because the problem I've got with it is it just simply doesn't add enough value in my mind. I can see it for if you're in an accident, it contacting you and asking if you need help. That's the one thing I can see. Like, okay, that would be nice. I'd like to have that. But am I going to speak to an operator about getting turn-by-turn directions? No. My smartphone does that. My navigation system does that. And so I don't see the value for me. So I wouldn't pay for it. But if it was free and part of the service, and they said it's there, and it's because we care about our owners, then I go, oh, that's interesting. But that could just be me. Because I know the trend lately in the auto field is for them to monetize everything they can. They're not out there giving stuff away. But don't forget that whenever they run into financial trouble, they suddenly become very, very generous. Remember what they were doing right before the big crash when two of the big three went bankrupt? Giving employee pricing to everyone. And I, who buy cars through employee pricing I've got through one of my siblings, I turn to the TV and go, wait, everyone gets that now? So we'll see. But right now, VW is doing the right thing. And they're giving away 5 years for free of CarNet. And it doesn't solve the problem they had last time. It doesn't do anything for her. But it certainly is a way of spinning this in a positive fashion. So VW is making CarNet free for 5 years after the carjacking fiasco. Electrek.co ran that story written by Michelle Lewis. James and Billy both sent it. Thanks a lot. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Everything has beauty, but not everyone sees it.